Roman Reigns has once again sent shockwaves through the entire WWE universe in a way that few superstars in the company's storied history ever could. His return wasn't teased, it wasn't leaked, and it certainly wasn't expected. It was a thunderous, unannounced reappearance that flipped the script on what many thought was going to be a career-defining night for a number of top-tier WWE superstars. During the main event of the Money in the Bank 2025 Premium Live event, arguably the most anticipated show of the summer, the long-absent Tribal Chief made his return in the most Roman Reigns way possible: explosive, dominant, and utterly game-changing. Without any prior warning, and after months of silence following his disappearance after WrestleMania, Reigns crashed the men's Money in the Bank ladder match with terrifying purpose, tearing through every single contender in the ring and climbing the ladder to claim the briefcase as if destiny itself had been waiting for him. The magnitude of the moment cannot be overstated. Fans were already on the edge of their seats, witnessing a chaotic, high-stakes match filled with dangerous ladder spots and last-minute saves. Seth Rollins, the reigning World Heavyweight Champion, was within inches of unhooking the briefcase. LA Knight, the fast-talking fan favorite, was mounting momentum. Drew McIntyre had just executed a brutal powerbomb that sent Cody Rhodes crashing through a steel ladder, and the audience was at a fever pitch. Then, without any hint or foreshadowing, the lights in the entire arena abruptly cut to black. No countdown, no music, no warning, just pure, disorienting silence that stretched long enough to create genuine tension. Fans began lighting up their phones, murmurs turning into shouts as confusion filled the air. And then, just as uncertainty gave way to speculation, the unmistakable opening beat of Roman Reigns' theme music dropped. That was all it took. In an instant, the crowd's confusion morphed into pure pandemonium. The arena erupted in a deafening roar as the Tribal Chief appeared, silhouetted against the massive screens and smoke, radiating fury and intent. He wasn't here for a stare-down or a symbolic gesture. He returned with war in his eyes and vengeance in his heart. In mere seconds, he asserted his presence by laying waste to everyone who stood in his path. Reigns launched himself into the match like a hurricane, delivering a brutal Superman punch to Seth Rollins that sent the champion flying off the ladder. He followed that by spearing Drew McIntyre straight through a table with bone-rattling force. LA Knight was the next to fall, caught mid-ladder and slammed face-first into unforgiving steel. The ring, once filled with chaos, became a graveyard of fallen contenders as Roman stood tall, untouched, and completely in control. With no one left standing and the briefcase hanging high above, Roman climbed the ladder, each step a symbol of his reclaimed power. When he finally unhooked the briefcase and held it high, the image became instantly iconic. But the true shock came not from Roman's act, but from the man watching in disbelief backstage: Paul Heyman. The longtime advocate of the Tribal Chief, the so-called wise man of the bloodline, was shown reacting in real time. A split-screen camera caught him backstage, completely unprepared for what had just happened. His face contorted with shock, his hands clutching his head, and his phone pressed to his ear in a frantic attempt to make sense of the moment. This was no carefully coordinated plan. Heyman had no idea what was happening, and that might be the most important detail of all. For years, Heyman and Reigns were the unshakable foundation of the Bloodline Empire. But tonight, that trust seemed shattered. The unspoken bond between them appeared to snap under the weight of this betrayal, or perhaps Roman's independence. The idea that Reigns might now be operating on his own terms, outside the influence of Heyman or even the Bloodline, sends chills down the spines of fans and superstars alike. What does this mean for the Bloodline faction? Has it dissolved completely, or is this the start of something even more dangerous? This night didn't just belong to Reigns. It shook the very structure of WWE moving forward. The implications of him holding the Money in the Bank briefcase are massive. He now has the ability to challenge any champion, at any time, completely on his terms. Cody Rhodes, who has spent the better part of 2 years chasing his finish the story narrative, suddenly finds himself staring at a new obstacle that's more intimidating than ever. Seth Rollins, proud standard-bearer of this new WWE era, must now carry his title under the looming threat of a Reigns cash-in. Drew McIntyre, who rebuilt his legacy from scratch after a rocky stretch, saw his path destroyed in one night. And LA Knight, who had organically risen through the ranks as the fan-favorite underdog, was left buried in the rubble without a chance to finish his breakout moment. As we analyze this monumental shift, our breakdown will dive deep into every angle. Expect slow-motion replays of each brutal move, close-ups of Roman's calculated expressions, and hidden Easter eggs that may hint at future storylines. Our insider scoops will explore whether this return signals a new solo path for Roman, a fractured bloodline rebirth, or even a shocking new alliance. We'll also look at the bigger picture, how Roman's return changes not just title pictures, but locker room dynamics, long-term storytelling arcs, and fan expectations. There's now a ticking time bomb within WWE, a man with a briefcase who already considers himself a king. So, what happens next? Could Heyman be plotting a power grab of his own? Might he align with another rising star to combat Roman's dominance? Should Reigns target Rollins and revive one of WWE's most compelling modern rivalries? Or will he cash in on Drew McIntyre, making a statement by dismantling yet another would-be hero? Could Cody Rhodes' destiny be forever altered again just as he was finally nearing the end of his journey? And what of the bloodline? Does a new version rise under Roman, one even more ruthless and unpredictable than before? These aren't just hypothetical questions. These are the narrative forks WWE must now navigate as one of its biggest names steps back into the spotlight, armed not only with legacy and momentum, but with a contract that could burn everything to the ground. The ripple effect has already begun. What took place at Money in the Bank 2025 wasn't just a surprise appearance. It was a strategic ambush that redefined the main event scene for months to come. So, if you felt chills during that return, you weren't alone. This was history in the making. And now, we want to hear from you. Is this a new chapter for Roman Reigns or the beginning of a darker era? Is Paul Heyman preparing a counterstrike, or has he been truly left in the dark? Who should Reigns cash in on, and when? Did we just witness the birth of a new bloodline? Drop your theories in the comments, subscribe for all the latest WWE fallout, and stay tuned, because Roman Reigns isn't just back. He's in control. So, let us know what you think. Could Paul Heyman be plotting a power shift of his own? Should Roman cash in on Rollins and reignite their historic rivalry, or aim for McIntyre to assert dominance once again? Is this the rebirth of the bloodline under a darker, more ruthless banner? The questions are endless, and the stakes have never been higher. One thing's for sure, if you are watching live, you'll never